that's hurting in that area. But that's just my personal feelings.
I love it. My favorite
tenure is awesome.
He took the group chat to the public.
Yeah. You my
Say whatever
favorite
you
part.
want.
My favorite part is
full name.
They could have went out on Andrew Berry on a lot more than that. He just waited until it was the Flacco thing. But you know what? Like it was last year that when they were playing the Colts and he told them, make sure you don't knock AR out of the game. I don't want to see Flacco. Flacco comes in and beats them. And so he's got some. Listen, he's seen some Flacco days where they come back. He's salty at Andrew for making that trade in the division. I love the old school mentality.
Yeah, I think he does understand exactly what's going on, and that's why he doesn't like it. He feels like
What is it? What is going on?
I mean, he feels like the Bengals got a little bit better, and the Browns don't care about what happens in the division this season. So they're like, all right, let me get some picks, whatever, and don't make my team. He wanted to go up against Jake Browning, and now he's got Joe Flacco.
And you got him twice in the next few weeks.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you're concerned about Flacco, then yeah, I can understand being
And
ticked off.
for Andrew Berry and the Browns, they're looking at it like you said, Nick, you got a draft pick, and they're also looking at it as, you know what, for the Cincinnati Bengals, we don't want you to end up with the #1 pick. We're going to give you Joe Flacco. He'll be just good enough to win a game or two. Now you end up picking in the teams, and we're actually helping our team for the future. We don't give a damn about the Pittsburgh Steelers and how it impacts them. We hate everybody in the division.
And there's nothing wrong with that. It's not his job to worry about how it impacts
Honestly,
anybody.
I don't even think it was even that nefarious. I think it's like, we're done with this guy. Someone's offering us something. We're going to take it.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. Like they weren't going to play Flacco the rest of the year.
Let's go back to the beginning part of it. Are the Pittsburgh Steelers going to win that division?
I mean, the rules say somebody has to.
Right.
Like, that's in the rules. So, look, I don't.
It hurts him.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, you'd have to say yes. But, like, get back. If the Bengals beat them Thursday night, like, are all bets off? Do the Ravens have a softer schedule coming up and get their quarterback back healthy? I mean, it's not over. We've seen the Steelers start out hot and fade. That wouldn't be the first time it's ever happened. So they're the only ones, really, that things have gone well for so far in that division.
Yeah, no, I think I would lean towards the Steelers. However, like the Ravens defense, without getting the people back, played a little bit better, honestly, a lot better against this Rams team. If Lamar comes back and that offense goes back to scoring 30 points and has
It's a lot of ifs. It's one if.
I mean,
It's
look,
one if. If the defense keeps playing good, if Lamar comes back, plays good, if they score 30 points a game, you can't group them all together.
If the Steelers stop playing Carson Wentz,
they score 30 points.
Oh, okay.
That's not an if.
Okay, you combine it. I got you.
The reality is when you're 1-5, you need a lot of ifs to fall your way. Their schedule, the Ravens' schedule, in theory, does look manageable, and they get 2 cracks at Pittsburgh, so they will have their opportunity to climb back into it. But the Steelers are now the favorites to win that division. Okay, time for carbs. We start with Chicago and Atlanta last year, or excuse me, Chicago and Washington. Last year, the NFC North was the best division in the sport. 3 teams won at least 11 games. This year, all 4 teams look like they could be in the mix. They are the only division right now that every team currently has a winning record. Take a look at the Packers and Lions, heavily favored to win that division. The Vikings, right now, the longest odds to win the division. So we asked everyone before we started, who do we like winning that division? And I see it split between Detroit and Green Bay, which is probably not a surprise. Jeffrey.
Yeah, I just like the Lions. I think ultimately this team's going to get healthy on the back end of their defense. They're going to be better. This is a tough-minded football team who is extremely explosive. I know they lose to the Chiefs, a tough game. Things don't go out. The 2 4th downs don't work out their way. This is a team that pushes the envelope. They're not scared to make a mistake. They're going to play through mistakes. You got to respect it. That's why I'm going with it.
They're an aggressive team. I like the Lions in this, but I'm going to lean towards the Packers because their defense is much better, but they aren't necessarily producing the turnovers and sacks. Considering how much pressure they get, they should have more sacks and turnovers. I think those things will come along, and this team will turn into the juggernaut I think that we thought they were going to be.
I mean, I think a tough time. I picked the Lions to go to the Super Bowl before the season started, and I don't see any obvious reason to back off of that at this point, except that both of these teams, we have to remind ourselves it's still the middle of October. But if I recall, when we got working through the playoffs last year, all these teams got knocked out quickly. And I could see it happening again. They all have these big, obvious kind of flaws, and those teams out west that no one is paying attention to. And Tampa, like, I'm not sure that while this might be the strongest division top to bottom, I'm not sure these are the best teams.
They beat each other up a little bit, too, over the course of a season. I think and Detroit's already doing that thing where everybody on defense gets hurt, so you're starting to see that. Now, it's not season ending.
I hate when they do that thing.
To me, it's a coin flip. I think the Packers, a young team that has reason to believe it'll get better as the season goes along, so that was what broke the tie for me. But looking at this graphic, I think my only thing I can say is congratulations to the Bears on your division.
Or the Vikings. I mean, everyone is discounting the Vikings.
The Vikings are the only one in that division that has a question mark at the quarterback position. That's the reason I think that they're last.
Do they
in
think
those
they have a
odds.
question mark? Like, I think they think they have J.J. McCarthy.
Guys played 2 games. Like they can't possibly know,
They
even
definitely
if they
have questions.
believe that he's the guy.
I get that. All I'm saying is that when we came in here 5 weeks ago today, or whenever it was the morning after the first Monday night game, we thought that, J.J. McCarthy's the offensive player of the week, and the Bears are the ones that have the question marks, and here we
By the
are.
way, offensive player of the week with 160 passing yards.
I get it, but it was
a
the
little
great
bit of a
fourth
stretch.
quarter.
Yes, and I do think they believe they have their guy. The biggest thing is that he just needs to be out there. To the point of that game, you got to see a little bit of the it factor. Now you need the development on the practice from day in and day out, the games from week in to week out, to see him continue to progress.
Final word.
Yeah, I mean, we do TV, Greeny, after a game like that. We overreact, make it real excited. The people like it, and then a few weeks later, they tell us we were wrong. It's
A little
the game we play.
alliteration on him.
right.
Yeah.
There you go.
I'm offended by the mere suggestion that you think we would ever overreact to anything on this program, including huge news in Tennessee, the most ridiculous thing in the history of sports. That's meant to be a funny overreaction. First firing of the NFL season. Titans saying goodbye to Brian Callahan 6 games into his second year. He finishes 4-19, 1-5 this year with Cam Ward, the first pick in the draft. Senior offensive assistant Mike McCoy will take over as interim coach, and it continues this, well, what else can you say? Ridiculous trend. In the last 10 years, 8 quarterbacks have been taken first overall. 6 of them had head coaching changes in their rookie season, including Ward. It has now happened in 3 straight instances. This drives me insane. You know how I feel about that. If we can go little picture and deal with just what they're doing in Tennessee, or we can go big picture. I say this all the time, Dominique. Far more young quarterbacks are ruined than developed. Teams don't sync up. They don't marry up the timeline between the 2 most important people, the coach and the quarterback, and it is a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, I mean, ideally, I think you're probably right. That's what you want to do, but I think it's just a universal flat rule. I think it's a bad idea. If you know that you have your coach, then you keep your coach. The problem is probably making the wrong hire to start with. I think misaligning the timelines isn't actually what's causing these things to go wrong, is that they had the wrong guy to start with, and they stuck with the wrong guy instead of finding the right guy.
But I guess that's reasonable. How do you see it?
Yeah, I think it's too much turnover at every level if you're talking about Tennessee. Right? They're either firing the coach or the GM every January.
Right.
Yeah.
That doesn't, I'm not kidding. Like, if you go back the last 3-4 years, that's happened. So you go back to this offseason, they change the front office structure. They bring in a new GM, Mike Borgonzi, and they elevate Chad Brinker. He's like in charge of the whole organization now, like football-wise. So there were conversations in the offseason, do we want to bring back Brian Callahan or do we want to move on after 1 year? They ultimately decided to bring him back. The problem is you're having that conversation. And once you start having that conversation, and you're now bringing in the #1 overall pick, like, you have to make sure that you have your guy. And if they were having that conversation, then Brian Callahan wasn't their guy, and he was in a situation where he wasn't going to be able to succeed. I mean, you don't have to cry for Brian Callahan. 4-19 is not a good enough. Like, you can't, but I don't think this is about can he coach? Was he the right decision? Like, once you're discussing it as a newly structured front office with a brand new quarterback coming in, you have to be 100% sure.